Am I live yet? Am I live? Trying to get this to work, guys. Okay. Woohoo! I made it work. Okay. So, how's everybody doing? Oh, it's got a big delay. All right. So, I'm sure many of you have heard of the most recent things that went down in Virginia. Um, they are obviously being crazy, but this seems to be a test of, of some sort, and Virginia's being the testing platform. They are, in the most recent thing, let me see. The governor is saying that the sanctuary Second Amendment, it has no legal weight. Okay, well, he could be correct, but I'm not sure what his backup plan is, because he is calling for banning assault-style weapons, which there is no definition for that, and there has been 110. I'm seeing different numbers. 100. I'm seeing 95 counties are saying absolutely not. We're having sanctuary gun sanctuaries, which means that the entire state of Virginia is saying this governor is crazy. So why is he still pushing this? It's very, very strange. That's what makes me believe that this has a lot more to do with a testing of a civil war coming. And I'm going to tell people how they can win this. And it's not just you. Everybody needs to listen to this, because it seems like they're testing the waters to see how much they can get away with. But luckily, we have been blessed to have watched the amazing work that the people of Venezuela have been doing for the last about at least 3 years. And I know some of you that might be new to my Venezuela stuff might be thinking, what? Venezuela? That's crazy. They're socialist. No, they're not. And you can see that they're not socialist in the way that North America sees socialism. But what they did was, in the beginning here, they started their militia. Yes, they have a military as well, but they are a country of about 30 million people. They currently have a standing militia of 3.3 million volunteer members. They don't get paid. They do it for the love of their country. And they're doing this to combat essentially what's going on in Virginia. But this has been going on in Venezuela from outside, though. It's been going on because of DC. The sanctions coming from DC that has, and Saudi Arabia, they crashed the oil market. I'm not going to go through everything that's went on. If you don't know what's going on, you can check out my playlist. But we have watched them over the last few years, and they have essentially made a blueprint for how we can win this. And when I say win this, I mean get out of this R versus D charade and actually stand up as we the people. Not R, D, and then it's not black and white. It's just not. And people need to realize that. And we can see that with the nonsense that we have Republicans siding with all. There's been more gun bans with Trump in office than there has ever been. So take that however you will, but people need to realize that the R and the D are working together for probably the globalists. But anyway, let's look at their blueprint, what they have done over the last couple of years. So I know a lot of people feel that militias are just about guns. It's just about, having your guns and being ready for some type of literal civil war. But that's not the case. As we can already see, what this governor is saying to the police officers is that, oh, well, we'll pull your federal funding if you don't do this. We're going to pull this. They're going to threaten all of these things. That's what's going to scare people. It's not so much going to be the guns. It's going to be the other things like, oh, crap, they're going to stop sending federal food and all of these things. Those are the things that are crucial that you need to, as your militia group, if you are connected with any militia members, share this with them, because this is exactly what they did. They prepared, they trained. That's first and foremost. They are very well trained, okay? And not just in shooting. It's not just about shooting. It's about everything else. The shooting is actually, if you can shoot or whatever, that's literally like the last thing that you should even be concerned about. And that's a good thing, because you can also enlist people that may have a criminal record that can't own guns. That doesn't make them helpless. They can still help in this effort to take back our country. So, what they're doing and what they've been doing is they are growing their own food. They are, helping out with, so many other things. See, in their case, they are supporting their government. Not so much the Maduro government. They are supporting their constitution. And that's how we need to look at it. We don't need to look at this like as in we are supporting whoever is in the White House or whoever is in the governorship or whatever. We need to look at this as our Constitution, plain and simple. That's another thing. Let me show you this. So I know there was these rumors, or I don't know if he actually said it or whatever. The governor said that he was going to enlist the National Guard to come in and do the work if these sheriff's departments and whatever wouldn't do anything. Well, this is the oath of enlistment. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. First sentence. It's the first thing that you are swearing an oath to. So to even think that the military would have your back on this is just pure insanity. Luckily, we have heard from them and they're saying, no, they're not going to help either. But I believe that some people will be able to be easily swayed by other things like, oh, we're going to take your paycheck away, we're going to take this away. And those are the things that you need to be prepared for. They're going to, I don't know how bad this will get, but we always need to be prepared for this. Be prepared for them to say, oh, you're going to lose your job. Oh, if you don't do this, then, like they told the sheriff's department, the police officers. Well, you better quit if you don't enforce these. Okay, quit. I'm not saying today. I'm saying be prepared for that. And that, by growing your own food and having like a neighborhood watch type of situation. It's hard, Venezuela is different, but their blueprint will definitely work. So apart from their military type responsibilities, which include training and education, the organization is also carrying out national population and housing censuses, working alongside Productive Workers Council, embarking on a series of agricultural projects, growing fruit and vegetables and all of these things. These are the main things that you need to have. Because if you don't have food and you don't have, some type of structured system, it's going to fall apart. You can all meet at the local gun range and say, "Hoo, we're here," but that's not how it's going to work. You have to see beyond that. And I'm sure many people have, but I don't think a lot of people are seeing that big picture. And you can look exactly to what Venezuela has done, because DC has overthrown essentially every South American, Central American country, as well as many others, but they have not been able to successfully do it in Venezuela. Venezuela has stood up and said, it ain't happening. So they're essentially fighting the same people. They're fighting the corporate DC elite globalist, all of these people. Remember, Venezuela is the only sovereign Christian nation still standing without a Rothschild bank, and all of these other connections, whatever. And so they're saying, no, it's not happening. We will not bow down to your nonsense. They would rather be poor and take care of themselves than bow down and then essentially lose everything. At first it might seem like you're gaining, but you're not. In the end, it would be a slave plantation. But whenever you look at all of this, it's right there. You look put the nonsense that you've heard from the mainstream media about them being socialists and all this stuff. They have carved out a blueprint for what anybody needs to do when trying to not be overthrown by these crazy sociopaths in DC. It's exactly what they've done, and they've been successful. The main reason they've been successful is, I have to give a lot of credit to, Vladimir Padrino, who is their general of their military, but because he was actually trained here in the U.S., funny enough, with military intelligence and psychological warfare. So he was able to stay a few steps ahead of them. And just recently, Erik Prince had a meeting with the vice president of Venezuela, and they are freaking out about that, because essentially their plan was to send in Erik Prince's guys to do the dirty work. And now they're trying to say, oh, we need to punish him for treason and all that. Come on now. Like, really? They've lost so badly in this. But the only reason was because the people of Venezuela stuck together. That doesn't mean every single one of them love Maduro. It does not mean that. It means they don't want their country to be overrun. That's all you need to look at. It's more about their country and their morals and their values and all of these things. So, stop looking to the politicians, because if you haven't noticed, I think they're all drinking or something, because they're not on planet reality with us. They're not. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. And but seriously, like, this is what needs to be done. You have to make sure that you put all of your ducks in a row. You can't just, like I said, just show up with your guns and say, yeehaw, let's go. It's I know it seems like that with the movies and everything, but that's not in reality how it would work. And you would fall really fast. So you need to be structured. Let me see. Oh, turn up my volume? Oh, crap. Has it been low? Well, that really sucks. How is it now? Oh my goodness, am I gonna have to do this whole video over? Testing. Is it better or no? Seems better. You can't hear me? What? You can hear? I mean, I can hear myself. I can hear myself fine. I'm listening on my phone. Is it better like this? I mean, that's right. I don't know. Sorry. Well, that makes me not noisy environment. There's no noisy environment. It's just me. Oh, okay, good. Oh, thanks, girl. Thank you. Yes, if you would like to help support my channel, please do that. Many of my recent videos have been demonetized, and it's making me a little concerned. I mean, not that I make much on YouTube, but I do a lot of work. But anyway. Well, now I'm like closer to the camera. Dang it. Okay. Okay. So, on to the other things that are going on. So, I mean, essentially everybody's talking about this. But what nobody is talking about is the Civil War going on in New York. I don't know if we can call it a civil war, but just recently, the Muslim Patrol. This is bad, y'all. And I'm not surprised that mainstream media is not talking about this, but this could end up being some type of bloodbath. Do y'all remember the 90s when they had the Bloods and the Crips and they were just like throwing down in LA? Was it Bloods and the Crips or whoever it was? It was bad. But what occurred the other day that they're not talking about at all. Members of the New York's Muslim Patrol recently became embroiled in a near explosive altercation outside some mosque in Brooklyn with members of the Bloods, a notoriously violent gang. The Muslim Patrol gang gained international attention in the fall of 2018 after several of its patrol cars. Y'all got to check this out. These patrol cars look like NYPD cars. How is this legal? I mean, there's a point where tolerance becomes ignorance. Community patrol. I mean, these people literally have like police officer vehicles. They have red and white lights. It's crazy. Look, they drive around Brooklyn like as if this is legal. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if like a militia started something like this? What would occur? They would. Oh, that I'm not even gonna go there. I mean, if you don't know about Schaefer Cox, just for mentioning a militia, he's still in prison. Um, that's just crazy. But anyway, let's go on. I mean, this is insane to even allow this. It's one thing to have like a neighborhood watch. It's another thing to have police cars like and parading around. Anyway, so the Muslim Patrol Gang International. Okay, I went through that. The Bloods are a violent African American street gang known for trafficking drugs and guns. Their criminal organization has made national headlines. Okay, we all know that. But on December 10th, a verbal altercation began in the evening when a teenage boy allegedly disrespected a Muslim woman outside of a Brooklyn mosque on Fulton Street. The boy did not touch the woman, bystanders say, but he did speak to her. So he might have been hitting on her. I don't know. He's a teenager. A Muslim patrol member, this pretend cop, grabbed the teenager by the collar and threw him up against the gate of this mosque. While the boy was pressed firmly against the fence, the Muslim patrol member held him by the neck and lectured him. The MCP officer snatched that boy up, one witness said. He grabbed him by the collar and threw him up against that gate and held onto him by the neck. After the rebuke, the boy complained to his father. His father happens to be a senior member of the local Bloods. The father rallied 6 other Blood members to join him for a little visit to the mosque. One of them was strapped. A witness said the Blood member who had a firearm. Yeah, I think we know what strapped means, right? He raised his jacket and flashed his gun. Those dudes came out to shoot that mosque up. The father, he wanted to mess... These witnesses. They're funny. The father, he wanted to mess that MCP officer up. According to the witness, the father said the Muslim patrol officer, dude, I'm gonna bust you in your effing mouth if you ever put your hands on my child again. The situation escalated after the Muslim patrol member called for backup. Did he call the NYPD? No. He called his fellow Muslim patrol gang, whatever you want to call them. They arrived with their sirens and lights flashing. Witnesses reported mutual shouting as the Bloods confronted the original Muslim patrol member, who was quickly shoved into the mosque. So these people are supposedly protecting the community, but they can't even be protected. They can't even, speak to other people. They're pushing them in the mosque because they know things would not go well. But they start yelling and stuff like that. But the Blood member said, y'all run around here like you're the real effing police. Y'all all want to put your hands on these little kids. We don't give a F about your masjid. F your masjid. Some bystanders also reportedly taunted the Muslim patrol, shouting, put your hands on me. Come on, put your hands on me. And then tensions arose. NYPD showed up. But then they realized that those Bloods are from the 8th Avenue, Brooklyn, which are like the hardcore Bloods. And as they dispersed, one of the Blood members turned around and looked at the Muslim patrol members and said, this is not over. It's just begun. So, why are they allowing this to happen? These people were supposed to be like liaisons to the Muslim community for the NYPD, but now ever since the Christchurch shooting, they decided to up their whoever they are, and they are saying that they are what they call themselves. I forget. They're actually trying to protect. They act like they're actual police officers. That's what they're acting like. It's ridiculous. Let me see. Which a gunman. It now describes itself as a law enforcement organization, as if they are actual police officers. I mean, this is absolute insanity. And I believe that, New York and California and these other very liberal states are going to destroy themselves from the inside out. It this is, I believe this is what Darwin was actually talking about when he discovered natural selection. I'm not I'm not trying to be funny, but like, this is exactly what it is. I mean, you allow all of this to happen. Just, oh yeah, come on, do whatever you want. And then people are going to get fed up. And Sharia does not work. You can't have Sharia in a Western society. It's blatantly ridiculous to even have something that's promoting Sharia, because that's what they are. They are going around promoting Sharia. And I would like to, before I go on, I would like to talk to some people that left comments on some of my other videos where I talked about some Muslim issues. Well, their prophet. I'm not talking about the people. I actually just talked about their prophet who was married to a 6-year-old little girl. Yeah, I just want to ask people, what would you think if Jesus was married to a 6-year-old girl? Owned slaves, beheaded people, stoned women, called black people raisin heads? You wouldn't really think he's a prophet, right? Well, that's who Muhammad was. And people were like, oh my gosh, you can't be saying that kind of stuff. And yes, I can. I mean, nobody had any problems when I was talking about the Catholic Church or Zionists or what else, whatever else. I mean, I talk about everything. This is about truth. That's what I talk about. So I'm not going to put anybody in some kind of protected status when they are promoting pedophilia. That's what they're doing. And if you don't see it, it's because it's being suppressed in all the Western countries. And what they're doing is they are having many these people that go around and preach Islam and try to convert people from Christianity or atheism, and they're radicalizing these prisons. And that's what this is for anybody that didn't see that video. You can print this thing out and it shows all of the Quran verses and the hadiths and everything that shows about him and his bride, his little child bride. That was his 10th or 11th wife. I mean, at the same time, he had that many wives, plus he had slave girls that he had sex with. And so I don't know why so many people had issues whenever I spoke about that. Like, oh, you can't. Yes, I can. Yeah, I will. The truth is the truth. Sorry, not sorry. Okay? Yeah. But, I mean, this is actually a huge threat to our country. And people are too scared to say anything about it. And that's the big problem. People are like, oh, you can't say that. You're going to be called an Islamophobe. You're going to be called this. And, okay, yeah, well, that's what France tried. That's what Sweden tried. That's what Germany tried. What's going on there now? I mean, I know a lot of people love to talk about the Zionists and all of this, but I want y'all to think just logically. We understand who runs our media and Hollywood and all that, but are they chopping people's heads off for leaving Judaism or being Christian? No. Yes, there's some bad things going on in Gaza, no doubt, and I've spoken about that, and I will speak about that. But we need to look at the bigger picture here. They are aligning themselves with the left, and the left can't see past their nose. They just can't. I mean, it's insane. Let me give an example before I go off course. The other day when they thought Trump was impeached, I mean, Twitter was just like So many tweets. These people really thought he was impeached, like no longer the president. And then, so that's funny enough. And then people are like, wait, does that make Pence the president? How is that better? So they didn't even think out the process. Like, I think they, in their minds, thought that if Trump was no longer president, then what? Hillary's going to be president? Like, they didn't even think past that step. It's like, oh, wait, Pence, an evangelical Christian dude? And, you know, that obviously can be debated, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even think past that. And so they're aligning themselves with the left because they know they'll get sympathy from the left. But then once they get past that, they're going to flip on them. Of course they are, because they have their plans. And so many of us don't plan out things like that. Oh, they all seem so nice. And of course, this is not all Muslims. Just like it's not all Jews. It's not all blah, blah, blah. It's not all that. Another thing I want to talk about before I go on, people want to say, oh, well, why don't you go ahead and talk about everything that's happened in the Christian church? Okay, first of all, I've spoken about the Catholic Church on many occasions. I have a 4-page article that I wrote on Steemit, but I'm not talking about Muslims in general. I'm just talking about their prophet. And, you know, it's okay for people to make gay Jesus video, entire Netflix specials, but we can't talk about their prophet that was a pedophile and a slave owner and went around beheading people. But they're called a religion of peace. In what world? Also, this is not Islamophobia. I don't think people realize how many people want to leave Islam, or have in their hearts they've left Islam because they've realized what it is. But in the countries they live in, or in the families that they are in, they know that they will be beaten to death, beheaded for leaving Islam. That's how they keep them. That's why Islam is the fastest growing religion. It's because they lie to you to get you in, and then you're threatened to get out, like if you get out. So there's so many people that don't want to be part of this, but they are forced by everybody around them that this is what they have to do. And so those are the people that we need to be reaching out to, rather than just saying, no, let's just be quiet about it. How about we help them by teaching them that they are with a false religion, that their prophet was a very, very disgusting man, and maybe they'll stop waging jihad because that's logic. But, you know, they are aligning themselves with the left. Let me see. They're playing the unfair use of police towards the Muslims. In NYC, Muslims shut down entire streets to pray. Exactly. I mean, what kind of world is this? How are we allowing this? It just doesn't make any sense. And what's so bad is the women. They don't realize that they can't, you know, well, they can't leave. That's what's so bad. And they're talking these Hispanic women and these white women and these black women into becoming Islamic, not knowing that so many Arab people still own black slaves. It was completely legal up until the 60s, even when Muhammad Ali changed his name to Muhammad Ali, which is a whole different video for a different topic. I mean, what kind of man would change his name from Cassius Clay, who was a staunch abolitionist who helped to free the slaves? Not only freed the slaves, but he donated his land to build the first, or one of the first colleges that allowed everybody to go to. Because he was duped. That's why. He was duped, and he was told that that's what they do. Actually, let's watch a little video, because I'm so tired of these feminists actually believing Linda Sarsour's craziness. And like y'all, this video is it's terrible. And how they want us to just be okay with the hijab. There's so many women screaming out from the inside saying, no, please, tell us that we can't wear it, please. But they can't say that because they don't have the freedoms that we have, even in our own country, because people are bowing down to their nonsense. And so these people that are calling themselves feminists are not. They're ignorant. Let's watch some of this.
The Quran is an avid supporter of women's rights.
The concept of honor, it's very difficult to explain it to Western societies.
Honor is something that is carried and contained in women and is there to be guarded by men.
ومن هو وليها أولا يأتي الأب ثم الزوج ثم الابن ومن هو وليها أولا يأتي الأب ثم الزوج ثم الابن.
Anything from wearing short sleeves, refusing to wear a headscarf, being seen talking to a man, those things can be deemed dishonorable.
Thousands of women have been detained for dressing un-Islamically. Like this woman screaming as she's pushed into a police car.
The honor system in Muslim majority societies is really the basis of a lot of harm that is perpetuated against women.
It's systematic, institutionalized misogyny.
Then we got the Western retards that believe Islam is peaceful. Oh.
And get this, the Quran gave women rights equal to that of man.
Equal to that of man. Equal to that of man.
Can you beat your wife?
Yes, of course, the Quran says.
Can you beat your wife?
Yes, of course, the Quran says. Yes, of course, the Quran says.
Equal to that of man.
Up with the sisters, down with misogyny. Up with the sisters, down with misogyny. Up with the sisters, down with misogyny. Up with the sisters. And is it also surprising to know that the Quran is an avid supporter of women's rights? Woo!
As the Holy Quran tells us, the Quran says what?
Yeah.
Please record that.
The Quran says beat your wife.
And at that point, but I had already...
See, if you didn't hear, he said the Quran says to beat your wife. So we can blame Zionists for starting this and for starting that. Fine, I do. And I talk about them all the time. We realize that. It's no different than the elitist here. But there's a point that we have to actually put responsibility on the people that are actually doing this. This is in their book, that very different than our Bible. Very, very different. And that's what they go by. We read beautiful, love thy neighbor, and even love your enemies, and all of these things. And they're reading hate all Christians and Jews, but pretend you're friends with them and beat your wife and behead black people. Keep slaves, it's cool. You can have slave girls, you can have up to 4 wives, all of these things. So, you know, we could put this blame on the tensions between countries, but in reality, we also have to look at internally, and they're bringing that over here. We can debate all day long whether, okay, if we were never have gone into those countries, maybe they wouldn't be coming over here. Well, we can no longer, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant now. I've talked about all of those things, and I understand all those things, but at this point, that's not the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that's already occurred. Now we need to realize what's still happening and what's happening in our own countries, especially Samir. You know, I'm sure you see it, you know, in Germany, and these people that they can't even say things. Videos like this are banned in Germany and Pakistan, and all this Pakistan and Islamistan, whatever, whatever stan. But we have to look at what they're actually reading, what they're actually teaching their children, because this really is what it is. We can, let's pull out the 2 verses out of the Talmud. And yeah, it's bad, okay, but it's the Babylonian Talmud. How many Jews are actually going around chopping Christians' heads off? Not directly. I mean, we just need to be real. Like, these people are really doing it in the name of Allah. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm getting from a lot of people. They're like, but what about the Jews? But what about... Okay. And we can't do anything about any of the ruling elite. We just can't. What we can do is show the common people that they are being lied to, and that there is a way out. And as a Christian, that's how I believe that I can change anything. You know, I don't feel that talking about the Babylonian Talmud that probably 0.02 of the population has even ever read, it's not going to help, is my point. You know, we can only talk about that so much. It's not doing anything. It's like, okay, but this is actually going on. This is actually harming people right now. And we can see that with what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan, where it's practically Sharia over there. I mean, in Michigan. Like, what? It's insane. And people start, oh, well, freedom of religion and all this. Yeah, but they don't believe that. They say, yeah, freedom of religion, until they take over, and then it's like, well, not freedom for, we're here now. And you could see it in France. You can see it all day long, and you can see a million videos of what they are doing to these French girls and these German girls and these Swedish girls. So this is not like the ruling elite people. This is actual, just normal, everyday people that are studying the Quran and saying, this is cool, we can do this, because that's what Allah says.
I expressed to my husband, like, you know, because he would say, you know, he would just pull all these Quranic verses every time he would beat me.
Really equal.
Up is down and down is up, where left is right and right is left, where freedom is oppression and oppression is freedom.
I do see that sometimes when Muslims are, I'm saying that as a group because I'm a Muslim myself, but when we're outside, when we're out the world, you know, we're being selective with what we want to believe. But truly, when we have inside talks, it's a bit different compared to the outside talks. And we have to be able to be honest and say, this is what we believe.
Ooh, I gotta tell it, then I gotta tell it. Oh, tell me, cried when I got that phone call. I'm so gone. I don't know what to do. To be part 2 of my confession.
Usually it's because, like, when we're having internal conversations, Muslims in general, they're very straightforward and very firm in what they believe. But it becomes when it's more of an open platform and you're talking on YouTube or you're talking where multiple people can see you, then Muslims become very selective in what they say. And they want to kind of focus on the things that's going to show the Muslim world in a more positive light. But now they're being dishonest at times. And again, I'm a Muslim myself, so I'm putting myself in that category.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Yes, the Quran, the same Quran that Thomas Jefferson used as a reference when he authored the Declaration of Independence.
Nadia graduated.
She is so ignorant. Yes, Thomas Jefferson did own a Quran for his law when he was in law school because he wanted to understand law. Does that mean he used it to draft the Constitution? No. He might have used it to say, we should probably not do any of these things. But that doesn't matter. That's not, they will say anything. If you watch these Islamic apologists, it's crazy the amount of just blatant lies that they talk about. I mean, I guess as Christians, we're kind of different. We'll call each other out. We're like, hey, you know, that person's teaching false stuff. They won't do that. They're like, so? Like the ends justifies the means is kind of how they look at it. And that's dangerous.
From California State University with a degree in finance, and from Bentley University with a master's degree in business administration. Recently, she was chosen by the Democratic Party to be a representative promoting tolerance and interfaith dialogue. Recently, she was chosen by the Democratic Party.
Yes, the Quran, the same Quran that Thomas Jefferson used as a reference when he authored the Declaration of Independence.
I think we as a group have to be more open, have to be scrutinize more, any religious texture that we believe in, because otherwise, as a people, we will not be able to move forward. We'll be stuck in our ways, and it's pretty much be a little bit of a hypocrite, because we'll talk one way when we're talking to each other, and then we talk differently. Like
that people talk about Islam without knowing anything about it, and they're willing to completely negate any of my rights as a human being, as a woman, as a person with agency, simply because they have an idea about what my faith is about. Excuse me, Islam to me is the most feminist religion.
serious?
اما الضرب ولازم تقر حضرتك ان الضرب هو حق ليا بنص القران.
التأديب العائلي هو حق من الزوج للزوجة كما هو حق من الزوجة للزوج. احنا عندنا مثل شو يقول هذا المثل العصا لمن؟
So I got married at 17. That marriage turned out swiftly to be abusive, both physically and emotionally. My dad started pressuring me to go back to my husband, and I reminded him, like, you know, this was an abusive marriage. I can't go back to this guy. He's going to kill me. And his answer was basically that he's a man and he can do what he wants. And even the Quran allows a man to beat his wife. And you belong to him and you need to go back.
You hear? I mean, seriously. Like, this is just normal, everyday people. And they're like, it's okay that you're being beat because that's what the Quran says so. And these feminists are so crazy. These people that call themselves feminists, they're obviously not feminists. They're just ridiculous.
The sisters, down with misogyny. Off with the sisters, down with misogyny.
But you have been critical of feminism, of feminists for being silent.
Wait, what's the Renee, what do you mean? This study will lead to false Judaism? What will? Okay, yeah, I mean, the Noahide laws, the Talmudic laws, yeah, we all about, yeah, no, that's not advocating for that, but pushing people in the direction of only looking at that and not looking at the real threat, where this is the second largest religion in the world. I think that this is the problem, of the bigger picture. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna allow us to be going at each other, because they're gonna try to take over all the Western countries, and then they can implement whatever they want. So I mean, it's good to obviously keep an eye on the Noahide and all of that stuff, but we need to see what's going on right in front of our faces too.
On questions that you consider vital when it comes to the Islamic faith. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So feminism has been really, really silent about this double standard. In fact, actually, they actively support some of the oppression that women face. I mean, the fact that you have a celebration, World Hijab Day, and you have women that don't even understand that in some parts of the world it is a symbol of oppression.
سلام مسیح، من از اصفهانم. من اینجوری شدم، بابام اینطوری کرده به خاطر اینکه جلوی یکی از دوستایی داشتم که هر روز خودمونه رو سرم نمی‌کنم. من اینجوری شدم.
It's rooted.
Sorry, why is it so low whenever I'm talking? What do y'all mean? I mean, y'all see that? She's being beat because she didn't have her hijab on when her brother's friend came over. This is going on every single day. And if we can reach these people and tell them there is a better way, then this can help so many other things. Because they don't know that they're being lied to. They honestly don't. They don't know all of these things that I've talked about with Muhammad and his child bride and, all of these things. They don't know that they followed a false prophet. But we can't just tiptoe around it. You have to tell them. And they actually respect that more. Western Christians, we're more passive when we're like, ooh, can you say it in a nicer way? That really doesn't work with them. They like to be they think Jesus was too passive and all of these things. And then whenever they convert, then they're like, oh, this is so much better. But while they have this is their mentality. It's like, how something by the sword or whatever, they had people convert by the sword, meaning they were going to cut your head off, or you convert to Islam, or you had a third option, I guess. You can continue being Jewish or Christian, but you have to pay 50% of your daily wage. And that's how they have, converted so many people. And they do it here with just blatant lies through their people like Zakir Naik and Muhammad Hajib or whatever, Hajib. These doofballs, they're straight up goofy. Or this other channel, crap, he just straight up changed one of the verses in the Bible. Let's just continue this, I'll find it.
In a modesty doctrine. If someone had asked me if I liked hijab and if I thought it was wonderful, I would have said, oh yeah, go hijab, because I didn't have the choice.
A tool of oppressing women, and the women are freely donning the hijab, a symbol of our oppression. To celebrate that is a huge betrayal. freely donning the hijab, a symbol of our oppression, to celebrate that is a huge betrayal. To not discuss that a woman can be beaten by her husband. The Quran actively says that a woman can be beaten by her
I
husband.
think it says
To not challenge that.
lightly discipline.
Say what?
You see that? Like, even this news anchor is like, well, maybe it doesn't say that. It just says lightly. I mean, the woman is telling her what it says and that she's been beat. And the news anchor is like, oh, it just says lightly. What?
A woman can be beaten by her husband. The Quran actively says that a woman can be beaten by her
I
husband.
think it says
To not challenge that.
lightly discipline.
Women in the 70s in Iran were filling the streets, marching against the hijab. Wearing the hijab, I always felt like an imposter. I always felt like who I was on the outside was not who I was on the inside, and I hated it. I didn't think it could get much worse, but yeah, you cover somebody in head to toe in black, and yep, there you go, you found something worse. Wearing that niqab for 5 years, you feel like a ghost. Like, you feel like you're not a human. You feel like you're just walking amongst humans because you're invisible. You can see people, but they can't see you. You don't feel like a human. That's why a lot of everything that I focus on these days is things like My Stealthy Freedom, which are women in Iran that just want to take a picture without a hijab on, you know? It's such a simple thing. But they're risking being fined, being imprisoned, they could be killed. It's just women saying, we're here and we're suffering. Can somebody please notice? When you have the burkini ban happening in France, everybody loses their mind that these French women are going to be told what to wear. But when women across the Muslim world are being told what to wear at the risk of imprisonment and torture, silence.
Feminism has been really, really silent about this double standard. In fact, actually, they actively support some of the oppression that women face.
They point the finger at Islam and at Muslim men for being the worst, for being the most sexist and the most oppressive. The assumption that all women who wear the burqa or any other form of covering are forced into it by evil Muslim men.
نه مامان نه راد نمیدن من اگه نظری راد نمیدن بیا اینجا خیلی خوب برو درش بیار رفتی درش بیار رفتی اونجا درش بیار مامان همیشه نباید سرت باشه بیا مامان نباید همیشه سرت باشه
Happy No Hijab Day. One of the first most depressing days that I had on social media was learning that there was something called Hijab Day, where free women would put this hijab on, thinking that it makes them in solidarity with Muslim women. Alicia Keys was the person who I reacted to most strongly because she had posted a picture of a woman in niqab, covered head to toe in black except for her beautiful legs sticking out. And she said something about how, how this was such a beautiful thing that this woman was wearing. And so I in turn posted a picture from the movie Roots of a slave covered in chains when they were being brought to America. And I said, there you go, Alicia. Is this beautiful to you? Because the visceral reaction you're going to have to me calling this beautiful is exactly the visceral reaction I have when you call that beautiful.
أنا سعودية من الثانية وطالبة استقل ولاية الرجل لأنني إنسانة عاجزة وأستحق أن أنال باحترام.
This is what I looked like in Saudi for 26 years. This was put on me before I was a teenager. I was not given a choice in putting this on. And whenever I took it off in public, I was threatened, or I was beaten, or I was kidnapped and jailed. I was called a whore for not wearing it. This was not my choice.
Let it burn, now let it burn.
I mean, and now this is going on in places, even in Canada, in Michigan, in New York, by these Muslim patrol people. They're still trying to Sharia-ize. I mean, what was that country? Brunei? They're Sharia now, and nobody cared until they realized, oh crap, they're going to start pushing homosexuals off the tallest building. That's when the left decide, oh, wait, what? They're gonna do something to the gays? That's when they started speaking up. Like, they don't have any brains. They just don't.
And I will burn it.
Fire! Just give me the light. 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 Just give me the light.
We on fire up in here. It's burning hot. We on fire. So we take it off if it get too hot. Up in this spot. We on fire. We tear the roof off the smoke.
Looks like
the roof on fire.
And that's the face of all
we get
tools
loose
of
in the smoke. Like the roof on fire.
Yet Western women want to have a hijab day, as if that's helping. It's ridiculous.
Done. Thank you. I'm so
Je supporte No Hijab Day parce que si vous valorisez le voile plus que la femme qui le porte, vous ne respectez pas la femme. I support No Hijab Day because if you value the hijab more than the woman wearing it, you have no respect for women. أنا مع No Hijab Day لأنه إذا بتقدروا الحجاب أكتر من المرة اللي لبسيته أنتم ما بتحترموا الامرأة.
إن الله كرم المرأة بهذه العقوبة، عقوبة الضرب. كيف؟
كرمها بالضرب؟
إي والله.
مش معقول.
كيف؟ قال نبينا صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم: ولا تضرب الوجه الله ولا تقبح.
He's never far away. Put your trust in him. Raise your hands and pray. Ooh, yeah, Allah. Guide my steps, don't let me go astray. You're the only one who can show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way.
Can people see why I've spoken about Venezuela for so long, but yet we're best buddies with Saudi Arabia? It is ridiculous to support Saudi Arabia, whereas Venezuela, the only sovereign Christian nation still standing without a Rothschild bank, it is some type of threat to us. I mean, even if you don't even watch any of my other Venezuela videos, just that right there should tell you, like, okay, yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
Inshallah, 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 we'll find our way. Inshallah, inshallah.
اللي هي اللي غادي تفيكسي لكم لو سون دو تان.
Alright guys, well, we'll finish this later. Gotta get ready for Christmas party at my grandparents' house, my grandmother's house. But yeah, this kind of went long. But anyway guys, y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye y'all.